we could do a little round table and just say ideas as they come up, but I'm going to chum the waters a little bit, especially in larger civilian enterprises, and certainly in most decent sized, even government organizations and not for profits. They have communities of veterans that they call either employee resource groups or employee networks. And so, and again, you should be willing to reach out at any stage of your transition process. Better early than when you're looking for a job, even though you may not have that specific job to talk about. There are things to talk about, like what should I be thinking about ahead of my transition, etc. But reach out to those folks in person on LinkedIn, maybe through if you went to a 4-year or 2-year college and they have alumni networks, and that folks have spent time in ROTC or spent time in active duty or a guard, whatever. Reach out to people that you know and start asking questions, good questions, but leverage those people that are in these employee networks, whether you know them or not, because they understand your story. And from there, you start building that relationship. Jason, go.
So I'll throw out two. There's a lot that can be covered in this, and I'm going to, I'll circle back the next go around to give some more. Here's two. Contact your local chamber of commerce, find out when they're having a mixer, right? You show up, it's a bunch of typically smaller businesses, but it's businesses none the same. Let's be honest, throughout the nation, there's plenty of small towns, and that's where you're going to get to meet the folks that are actually running the businesses in the town. So your chamber of commerce mixers are always good to get out there and network and meet folks. And then the kind of in the same vein, you'll have the different clubs and so forth, like the Lions Club or Moose Lodge, or even the American Legion and the VFW and all that type of stuff, right? So, and half of them, I don't even know how to say them. With the little purple hat, and it's starts with the Q. I don't know. Anyway,
Kiwanis?
Yes. So there's tons of those, and it's almost like a second mission of them is taking care of each other and helping each other, lift up and rise. Masons would be a good example as well. So utilizing those types of organizations, I'm going to throw this out there too. The best time to start networking for a job is when you don't need a job, right? So that's back to Chris's point. So the other thing is any networking event that is targeting veterans, okay? Recruiting event, anything, not LinkedIn, Vets in Tech, Chris.
Vets in Tech is a good one.
Does a great job with that. They'll host these kind of recruiting networking events with, a handful, maybe 4, 5, 6 different employers with a host employer there at their site. And there'll be, 3, 4, 5 recruiters from each one of these companies and little tables, and, maybe 30, 40, 50 veterans kind of meandering around and meeting folks and shaking hands and kissing babies. Here's my thing, and I'm going to double down on any networking event that's targeting veterans. The example here is Vets in Tech. Well, that is tech specific. Well, guess what? And I don't know if you're going to like this, Chris, but because for those that don't know, Chris is a co-founder of Vets in Tech. But here's my take on it, because I'm not the co-founder, is even if you don't want a job in tech, go to the networking event, meet people, shake hands, kiss babies, right? You'll meet a recruiter there. The recruiter is going to think that you want to get a job in tech, and you could say, no, but I know some people at my armory, if you're in the reserves or the National Guard, or I know some folks. I just wanted to be a resource for them and share this information, and then you mind if I get your number? Right? And then now all of a sudden you have a connection into that company that when you apply, you can reach out, right? So again, it goes back to you're bringing extra value,
Yeah,
right?
and vets in tech, those employers aren't all tech employers. They all are employers who have technology needs.
Right.
Many of them would qualify as technology companies, but you have banks, you have power
Totally.
companies, you have. So this is where there's never any networking that's bad networking. Now,
Totally.
some networking is better than others, and you only have so much time. So I would think through that. But for example, Vets in Tech has their annual gathering on March 28th. And I believe this one's virtual as well. But so you have no excuse. You don't have to be in San Francisco for it. And all of these organizations that are seeking to, whether it be they have scholarships like the Tillman Foundation,
Mhm.
there's so, and I know it gets overwhelming, but there are so many people out there doing great things to help veterans transition beyond just the people who have a company that is making profit, and there's nothing wrong with that, like the JMO transition services and the folks who help mostly JMOs or senior enlisted folks transition. But there's plenty of opportunity all the way around, whether it be job fairs, whether it be meetups, whether you just gotta, do a little bit of homework, use your network. Part of building your network, not just with people who have jobs, but people who are looking for jobs, is to make sure you're staying on top of all of this. And so it really is the buddy system to the nth degree. Right now, you also find that there, and Randy, I hope I'm not taking any of your ideas, but since I'm on a tear, I'm just going with it. Besides Vets in Tech, Vets in Tech does have a consortium of employers who are giving free or low cost training to veterans and loved ones who are interested in technology-oriented careers. But there are other organizations like NPower and the companies themselves who have some transition training or transition programs. Many of them will be connected through an apprentice program or a skill bridge or something like that. So again, it's very, very hard to know exactly where to go. Just start getting in the building the momentum in your search process, and you'll start uncovering all kinds of things that are super helpful. Randy, go.
Yeah, I got two. Jason kind of touched on one of them, and that's your veteran service organizations. So don't be afraid to reach out to your local VFW, your local American Legion, your local DAV, IAVA, whatever it may be. There's a ton of great organizations out there that serve veterans. Take a few minutes, get to know your local chapter, get to know the folks there. That's a great way to start the networking process, get you comfortable with networking. Talking about what you did in the military, and good things can come of that. One we didn't cover here, but I want to throw out there because it's been a really powerful tool in my life, is don't forget, even if you're a veteran, to get involved with alumni networks. So I'm a proud graduate of Washington State University. I stay kind of involved with some of the alumni things that go on through that school. And, obviously within that university, there is a military community. So that's a great way to make connections within a connection and kind of build a close bond. So all of us have had some form of education. I recommend that you take a look as a transitioning service member at the alumni networks that are available to you and get involved. It's building that spider web of a network out. And those are two easy ways to do it. Service organizations, VFW, American Legion, and then alumni organizations. And that's what I got.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised. I mean, a lot of your old military units, if you look them up on Facebook, they'll have Facebook communities. So wherever there is community around, maybe people who went through basic training together or whatever, just don't hesitate to participate in them, but participate ahead of the need. Jason made a great point about local armories or, when way before every time you're coming home to visit family, whether you want to work there or not. Let's say you go visit friends in a city where you think, wow, Denver might be a place that I'd love to live at some point, and I'm going to go hang out at Randy's house. Every time you do that, pick one or two organizations, go meet up with people at a local armory, local VFW, local American Legion. Start putting yourself out there, build that network way ahead of the need. The other side to networking, I think this is my final point, is this is a pay it forward type of proposal. And believe it or not, even though you may not have a job yet, there are other things that you could do to help other people who are looking for jobs. And believe it or not, just like what Jason was talking about, there are things that you could do to help the companies, the interviewers or the people that you're just meeting during the recruiting process by referring friends or saying, hey, by the way, I noticed during the interview process that you guys don't really know a whole lot about our Navy nuclear program. And here's a few things that you should educate yourself on. And because there's, these folks might be a very good source of talent for you. It's all about giving back. It's not just about taking. There are times where we need to take a lot more than we give, but don't ever sell yourself short, because you always have something to give. Even if it's passing on goodwill or passing on things that you've learned to help other folks' journeys be a lot more fruitful than yours.